Hello and welcome to the Seed of Andromeda update video 10. For the past 2 weeks I've been largely working on the aesthetics for the world and working on some performance things, and I also fixed some texture bleeding and some Z fighting issues by changing the way the clipping planes work. So let me go ahead and get things started by showing you the new tree billboards. I know they haven't been shown in some videos for a while because I had them disabled, but now we have 3 types of billboards. Before we only had one, which was the deciduous billboard. Now we also have a pine billboard and a mushroom billboard. So these are the pine ones. Note that all of these billboards are placeholders. I just sort of grabbed them off the internet, and I didn't really do a good job getting them ready for the game. So as you can see, there's like a white border around it. But it really does a good job of approximating where the trees go. As I move towards these, for the most part, they are in the correct positions of trees. There are some issues right now. There's some inconsistencies. A lot of these trees are kind of not in the right spot, but I think I know what's the problem with that, and I think I'm going to be able to fix it pretty soon. So let's go ahead and fly up, and I'll show you some of the major improvements that I've made to the actual coloring system. I'm not going to be able to show you here because this is the North Pole. Yes, we now have poles, North and South Pole, and we have an equator that has correct temperature distribution. So this is the North Pole. As you can see, there's snow pretty much everywhere. If I show you a temperature view, then you will see that it is cold everywhere. This temperature view shows temperature and rainfall, actually. The green is the rainfall. The more green it is, the more rainfall there is. As you can see, it's pretty random as far as rainfall goes. And then the blue is the temperature, blue being cold, red being hot. What I also want to show you before I go on and talk more about temperature is some of the new coloring as far as terrain slope. I need to find a canyon. I don't think that's a canyon. Here we go. This should be slopey enough. I now have, based on the slope, correct shading on the sides of like canyons. As you can see, I'm getting closer to this, and these are turning dark. This is actually the correct color. Before I was just using kind of a gray color at all times, but now the color that is being shown, right now it's not actually taking into account snow, but the color that is being shown is the color of the exposed rock. So if this snow wasn't here, this color rock right here would match up correctly with the terrain. Now it does this by actually taking the color of the texture that this block is used for and multiplying it by the color of the block, and then just displaying that on the far terrain. And we can do this for a lot of things. I'm actually using this for beaches right now. It's actually disabled because the far terrain coloration is a bit too dark, and it makes the dirt blocks on far terrain look kind of black, and it makes the sand blocks look a little bit too brown. As you can see, it already looks a little too dark for this kind of gray block right here. So I'm going to try to fix that in a little bit. As you can see, avalanches are still working fine. Haven't touched them in a while though, so they're still doing all the same things. Same little particle effects that could use improvement. So let's go ahead and fly up and find some prettier terrain. You can already probably kind of tell that the coloring is a little better. Before I was doing per vertex coloring, which if I go into wireframe mode and look down here, you'll be able to see all the different vertices that make up the polygons. Before I was just doing color for each vertex and then doing interpolation between them to get the color. But now, instead, I'm passing temperature and rainfall to the shader and calculating the color on a per pixel basis, making it much better. You get a much better resolution for the color, and you get all these cool effects, and it just looks really, really good compared to what it was before. So let's go ahead and try to find the equator, which should be easy if we just go in any direction. As you can see, the temperature is getting hotter and hotter as we go this direction. Now let me go ahead and show you this view. This is the biome view. It shows us the base biomes. It won't show us all biomes. It'll only show us the base biomes for the world. If you add main biomes on top of the base biomes, like mushrooms or oasis or things like that, those are not going to actually show up in this view. But this is just for debugging purposes. This isn't going to be in the main game. As we can see up here, there's tundra, taiga, all the things you would expect in the cold climates. And as we go this way, we see jungle and grasslands, and there are still a few little spots of, cold biomes on top of mountains, which is expected because it is colder at higher altitudes. So let's go ahead and fly down here and explore the new terrain down here and look at what it looks like. As I'm getting closer, you're going to be able to see that it is much, much better colored. If you look all around, if you compare this with the previous video, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about, because in the previous video it was just horrendous. When you were zooming in, you were getting all these artifacts because of the per vertex coloring. Now it's much, much smoother, and it's a lot harder to detect the LOD, or the level of detail transitions. as we get closer to this river, it just gains better and better detail, and then eventually the tree billboards pop into view fairly quickly compared to what they did before. And you get these really cool kind of ringy effects around mountains. In my opinion, it just looks really great. Let me see if I can find us a swamp biome so that I can show off the new mushroom billboards, because those have not been shown in any video before. I don't think, let me see. This is probably swamp. This definitely looks like swamp. There we go. Come down here, you can actually see mushrooms. They are a bit too dark right now. I'm going to have to change the texture. And you can also see the deciduous billboards if you didn't know what those look like. I think that's about it. Normally there would be some brown beaches here, but like I said, I had to disable them because it really made this look terrible. It just looked kind of black because the brown was too dark. In the future, I'm going to make it so that you can walk everywhere. Right now, you can only walk on the very top face of the cube, which in this case is the North Pole. I've been doing a lot of work changing the code to be able to handle cube transitions all over the world, and I'm about to start finally finishing that up. So the next video should hopefully showcase that, as well as some other fixes, and you know, I'm not really sure exactly what's going to be in the next video, but I'm sure it'll be good. Everybody just stay tuned for the next video, subscribe if you haven't, and you know, enjoy your day.